Brent, what's going on, man? What's happening? I heard through the grapevine you were building an RWB, my friend, a Rauh Welt Porsche. Oh my god, dude, you're building that? Honestly, you are the real mad scientist. I would not know where to begin. And who's this Mark Arcenal? Do you know him? Do you know Mark? Do you? These are questions that need to be answered.
Were you like a secret agent of some sort?
No, I just wanted to leave. So
You could have said it, man. Fuck.
yeah, okay. They sent me to like take out the cartels on my own, alone.
Dude, I've been stuck on Homeland. I've never watched Homeland at all. And then my friend goes, "You got to watch Homeland." So I binged that whole 8. Oh, I think I'm on season 8 now.
I haven't even seen it.
Dude, it's crazy.
I'll watch it. Mark tells me to do it.
Yeah.
I'm watching that.
Yeah, I binged 8 seasons in like 2 weeks. It was real bad.
Wow. Did you watch Narcos and all those shows?
Oh yeah, I love that. I love that show.
Okay, so
cool.
if I like that, I'm gonna like Homeland.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll like it. I mean, it's a different kind of killing, but it's pretty. It's cool. It's a cool show. It's different.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. We'll start just if you can introduce yourself.
All right. My name is Mark Arcenal. I'm a creative director for this brand I started in 2009 called Illest. I'm also one of the partners for RWB, part of the USA team. Yeah, that's me.
That's awesome. And I can see just looking at the shop there, and you kind of panned the other side too. You've got a lot of cool stuff in there. But it looks like you don't just live on Porsches, right? You're not just like a Porsche guy. Like what are your roots? What got you into cars? Like what kind of cars were you driving in the beginning?
In the beginning, it was only like I would say mostly Volkswagens.
Yeah.
I was I guess bugs, buses, rabbits, GTIs, and I'm still a Volkswagen fan. I just haven't had one in a while. I just still have my bus though.
You have your bus,
cool.
yeah. I was gonna say the bus looks awesome.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. I think I like all kinds of cars, to be honest. Like I'm not like, if you see my resume of cars, it's definitely the whole gamut. I haven't really dug into the American car scene yet, but I definitely want to.
I don't know if you know this. Have you seen Tinker's bus at Nike? He's the Jordan guy.
Yeah.
Have you seen his?
Yeah.
He's got that kind of, I don't know what color it is. It's kind of like a teal, what do they call that? Like a truck bus? Like a...
yeah, it's called a double cab.
Yeah, that
or
thing,
a single cab.
He used to bring that into my work all the time, and that's like I've seen that car in person so many times, and
yeah,
and then
I'm pretty sure I saw it on campus a few times. He just parks in the garage and stuff.
Yeah, he'd get, one time we were at work, and he had a Beetle delivered to my work. He's like, my friend like found this Beetle and said I'd really like it, so he bought it for me and he sent it to me. And
wow, that's pretty cool.
It must be nice to have friends, right? But
yeah.
So I've noticed that with you is you have had a lot of really cool like Volkswagens and that, and it feels like with Porsche people, there's Porsche people that came from air-cooled Volkswagen.
Mm-hmm.
There's like everybody else, and I feel like you're definitely a good sign of like one of the guys that you got to your limit with air-cooled Volkswagen and said, now I definitely want to start playing with the 911s, or what was that?
Yeah, I think well, it all started when I was at Nike back in 2006 or 7. I bought a Porsche in Seattle on eBay.
Mhm.
It was pretty funny. I didn't expect to win because we were in New York at the time. I was like, oh shit, if I win, I'll know right when I get back to the hotel. And I got back, I'm like, oh shoot, how am I going to pay for this now? Right. And I think before that, I've always wanted Porsche. I just couldn't afford it, you know. And I mean, I guess I could have, but it wasn't like a priority for me yet. As I got old, yeah.
It seems like, I mean, you modify a lot of your stuff. At least you make it low and wheels and stanced and in that. When you got your Porsche, were you concerned with like staying pure and stock, or was it like right away you were ready to start doing stuff to it?
Yeah, no, right away. I think right when I bought it, the next day I talked to my friends at Rauh's in Japan, and I ordered a set of TE37s because a really good. I don't know. I saw a black Porsche with bronze TE37s on the internet back then, and I was like, oh my god, I need to do this, you know. But the problem with mine, it was a C4 964, so I had to get tires in the same size in 18s, and the only brand that could do it at the time, I think, was I had Nittos, and they gave me a set, and it ran well. It just looked weird with a thicker tire, you know, up front. You're used to seeing a little a different kind of stagger look, but it was fine. It worked well.
Yeah, it's interesting. Even with like the Rauh Welt cars, I've thought about doing going royal wide. I wanted to see if they'd mix match and do royal wide up front and standard in the back, just to make my car look more square.
That's like a Subaru's dream, right?
Yeah, yeah. See, and I've had my fair share of Subarus too. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've never gotten into the Subaru. I got into I had an Evo. What was it? A 9? Oh, Evo 8 with a 9 bumper. Yeah, it was pretty fun.
You and Newton, huh? The Evo kids.
Yeah, I got in trouble because it was like super modified. I bought it off a friend, and usually I fix up my own cars, but I bought this off a friend because he gave me a good deal. And then I realized after I got pulled over, the ticket was like $1,800. Then I said, man, I'm gonna sell this car now.
Wow. Yeah, California is crazy for car modifications and stuff, right?
Yeah. I got pulled over at the airport picking up a good friend of mine. I'm like, dude, I'm just picking up my friend. Let me just, you know. So he pulled me over. It took like an hour because he brought out this book and was telling me everything wrong with my car.
How long ago was that?
I don't know. It was a long time ago. Maybe 2005? No, 9. Maybe 2009 or 2010, something like that.
That was kind of around the time when they were like really going in and like smashing cars, right? Like taking people, like looking for illegal motor swaps and crushing cars and.
Oh yeah.
Right? Wasn't that kind of late 2000s when they were doing that anyway? So they were really cracking down.
Yeah, totally. A friend of mine got his GTR taken. It's like a super R34. He spent like $150,000 on it.
Yeah.
And he never got it back. It kind of sucks.
Cool. All right. So you had your 964. Is that the 964 that became Pandora one, or was that later?
No, that was the one.
So how did that happen? So you went from like, hey, I've got to get TE37s, and then you're reading magazines, looking on the internet, and you're like, hey, I figured out how to pay for this car, but now I got to figure out how to like transform it. Like what was going through your head? No one had done it yet, right? No one had them in America.
No one had them. And at the time, I think I'm trying to figure out which came first. So at that time I was watching a lot of, I don't know. I mean, I was just way into, you know, I go to Japan, like, at that time I was going probably 3 or 4 times a year.
Mm-hmm.
And I still do same amount of times, you know. And you know, just the culture there is so much different than America, as pretty much everyone knows, right? But I think that the transition from seeing how people were doing their cars there to how people were doing. They were mimicking it, but they didn't have they didn't really, a lot of people didn't really understand it because a lot of them didn't really go to Japan.
Yeah.
So if you went to Japan, you totally understood, right? Like how they were doing it. And I think that at that point, I saw an article from, I think, Brian Scotto. It was a magazine called 0 to 60 or something like that. And he did a feature on Nakai and RWB. And I said, oh shit, I need to get this, right? So I hit up everyone. I hit up everyone I knew in Japan, and I talked to a lot of people, but we just couldn't get to Nakai, right? At that time, I don't think Toshi was even, he was there, but he wasn't really, I don't know if he was helping out Nakai yet. And at the time, I actually reached out to Sunburst first because I wanted to get a kit that looked like the one that Brian featured, right? So I said, oh, okay, Sunburst was not willing to talk, right? They're very difficult to talk to as well. But I think now that they're in the US after they've seen a lot of the RWB stuff. But I was able to contact Toshi, and I told him, hey, I'm going to go to Japan for Tokyo Auto Salon. I want to come visit the factory. And at that time, that's January, right? I went to visit him. I checked out the cars. I went to his shop, and I was like, oh, dude, I want to bring this to America for SEMA, which is in, I guess, end of October at that time. That was 2012 to 2013, one of those years, right? But Toshi was like, yeah, let's do it. So then he knew I was down, and then at that time, Brian and Ken Block, they did this San Francisco Gymkhana.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember that. I think at that time, basically, he said, dude, I want to do an RWB as well. So I said, okay, why don't we just do the RWBs together at my place? Because Nakai said he'll come over here and do it. And then that's pretty much how it became. And then another guy from Pennsylvania, this kid named Evan. He's not a kid anymore. He's an adult now. But back in the day, he was a kid. And he wanted to do a 993. And Nakai was like, he's totally down. So he did his first build in America with 3 cars, which is pretty cool.
So all 3 of your cars were in your shop at the time, you and Evan and Brian? I've never even heard of Evan in there. I've always see the pictures of the Hoonigan and Pandora, but I never. What color is that 993? What's it called?
It was like a black gray, like a GT3 RS gray. And he was actually supposed to be at SEMA as well, but he just ended up parking right out front, which was cool. Yeah. You know, like we all drove the SEMA together, which was pretty awesome.
No, that's crazy. Now I'm going to have to look it up, and I'll put it in this video when I find it. I'm going to have to
find totally. I think I have some photos as well. I sent Brian a whole video clip of the build and a bunch of photos as well. So, and the hardest part, I think, on my build was Brian's was already a turbo, which was crazy. He converted a turbo, which not many people do.
Right.
I turned mine into a turbo, so it was like an all-wheel drive turbo, which was like 580 horsepower at the time.
Yeah.
And just trying to, get everything in line, bring it back and forth while Nakai's building this for SEMA was super like mad rush, but at least the car made it, and it was working perfectly fine. So it was cool.
What was it like being involved in like that first build? Did it seem like Nakai was still kind of like scratching his head sometimes, going through like, how do we want to do this on this car? Because it seems like now when I watch videos, it's just like he goes in, he's a machine, he gets it done, he leaves. When he was doing the 3 of yours, did it seem like he was kind of pondering and figuring it out still, or was he already like just dialed in?
No, he was definitely, it was tough for all of us because one, he didn't speak English yet, right? Like it was like Japanese, right? And one of my employees, actually two of my employees at the time were Japanese. So that was the easiest part to use Max as like the translator.
Mm-hmm.
But Toshi didn't come in till a few days later. So it was like, oh, how do we do this, right? And, like we didn't really want to, I guess, make a scene. I mean, people knew that we were doing the build, but we were kind of keeping it on the low because these were supposed to be SEMA cars.
Yeah.
So we didn't, no photos were allowed. We didn't want anything out there. And Brian was really adamant about not having photos taken. We didn't want anything. We didn't want people coming in. It was just really private. And I think that also helped with the craziness of building an RWB for the first time, right? Like one of our air compressors stopped working, so we had to get, it was just a lot of craziness. But yeah, we ended up doing it.
What was the reaction like at SEMA? Like that first time you brought your cars out there, no one had seen them, and probably a lot of, especially in America, you don't have people as familiar with the RWB culture. So when they saw it, they'd never even seen them online, probably.
Yeah, no, I think it was. I wasn't sure what to expect. It was like a hit or miss thing in my head. Like, I wonder how this is going to work, because I partnered with Falcon at the time. So the Falcon at SEMA was like, they had the most prime location ever, right? Like right when you walk down the stairs, they have the first booth, and it's just wide right in front of you. And our car was, my car at the time was right in the front center. So there was so much, I guess so many eyes were on the car. So a lot of people were looking for faults, I guess,
Yeah.
But I built the car to make sure that we didn't have any faults, or, made sure that things started. Because there's so much, I guess you can call it like haters, a lot of haters when it comes to SEMA, because they don't understand. They do. Everyone understands what SEMA builds are. Like a lot of the time, most of the SEMA builds don't work, right? Like a lot of them don't start. They just push them in and stuff. So my plan was, I had to make sure it worked and started and everything, no issues, right? No leaks, nothing. The turbo worked. And the build was complete, right? Like we did crazy interior. We did as much as you can possibly do to a car at the time. And I thought, I didn't think we had too much, I guess, haters out there, but I'm sure there was some. But I thought we brought something cool.
So that car was black when you bought it. How'd you decide? Is it signal green? Is that what color it was, or what color green was it?
Yeah, it was signal green. These guys in Sacramento helped paint it for me. I'm not sure if they're still in business, but it's signal green with a matte finish, and I just matte finish would be kind of a twist on a signal green Porsche.
Mm-hmm.
I actually painted it a few months later after SEMA, just because I thought it was a little too much for my taste, but it was perfect for the event.
Oh, so it was only signal green for a few months. So every photo I've seen of it in signal green, that's just a couple of months, and like SEMA and that?
Maybe less than 1 year.
Because the color it is now is like a drab green or something, isn't it?
No, that's another car.
What color is yours now?
Well, it's a.
It's gone through a couple, right?
Yeah, well, that green, I actually got rid of that one, and I painted it black.
Okay.
After the green, and then I backdated it.
Okay.
To that drab green that you saw.
So you did that, okay?
Yeah, and then I redid the whole entire car for that drab green. It was called Mignonette green. It's a Porsche. It's a Volkswagen color. So all the cars that I repaint basically are using either classic Porsche colors or classic Volkswagen colors from 1958. So that's how I guess, I don't know, I'm way into the colors back then, but it turned into that drab green, and that's when I sold it, and the new owner painted it some blue. Some kind of blue. He's out in Texas somewhere.
Oh, I've seen it. I've seen that color. Yeah, I know what color it is.
With some copper wheels or something like that.
Yeah, for mine, that's what's really tough for me is mine's guard's red, and anybody who's painted cars knows that like that's one of the hardest colors to get rid of, right? So it's kind of like you embrace that it's red or or not. I'm getting really close, and I'm either going to leave it red or I'm going to paint it seafoam green, which is a 50s Cadillac color. It's a GM
Nice.
color.
Where,
So
where are you doing the build?
Salt Lake.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so hopefully you
Nice.
can come out. What was it kind of the plan in the beginning? So when you were doing this, you were building Pandora 1. Was the plan to become like a distributor, or did that come along later? How did you get involved in kind of the becoming like an ambassador, I guess, for Rauh Welt and becoming somebody
Um,
who helps people with this?
I don't know. I think the guy asked me, like, "Hey, Mark, do you want to help bring the RWB to Japan?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it, right?" And
Yeah,
Toshi was like, really like, "Hey, Mark, you gonna help us?" I'm like, "All right, let's do it. I don't care. You know, I'm totally open for this. I love it. You know, I love doing builds. I think I built 4 already
hmm
with Nakai for myself, and then I don't have 4 anymore, but yeah, no, I just love it. I mean, I love the process. I love hanging out when we do any builds here. Like we've done maybe 10 builds, 12 builds
wow.
in our house, and every time it's like a private event. You know, just to kick it. You know, like kick it with Nakai weekend. You know,
I had no idea that you'd built 4 of them. Will you send me pictures of the 4, like after
for
or
sure.
something? See
I'm
that?
building a yeah, and I'm actually doing a 997 with Nakai.
hmm
I'm excited about that because it's definitely something that you could drive every day. You know, I think
Yeah.
I've had quite a few 911s now. I think maybe 30, and
hmm
I think out of obviously the ones that can drive the most comfortable are the newer ones.
hmm
So I'm thinking it might be kind of cool to take that one out to basically you can make that your daily driver without having the air cooled issues. You know.
Yeah, that's what Toshi was telling me too. He's like, it's just like you drive it to the mall, you get your groceries. It's like you don't
Yep.
have to worry about your speed bumps. He's because I think he said it's even they're doing out of like polyurethane or something, right? So it's a different kind of kit. They're making them differently than the
Yeah.
fiberglass.
Yeah.
So yeah, it sounds like
I'm
it's a really
excited.
interesting.
Definitely, yeah. My wife drives which my favorite Porsche at the time, well, right now I guess, is her car, but I rarely get to drive. It's a Porsche Sport Turismo, the Panamera Sport Turismo, the station wagon.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember when you bought it on Instagram or something. You and I weren't like I think we were friends on Instagram, but we hadn't talked or anything. I think when you bought it, I said something to you along the lines of like, it's cool, but I wish you would have bought the Turbo S hybrid. I think, and
oh
I
yeah, I
think,
remember.
yeah, and you're like, yeah, if y'all wanted to spend $200,000 on a daily driver, I would have, but I got this instead.
Yeah,
There,
I my friend Jeff, Jeff Swart, he's like a Porsche dude.
I know who he
He's
is, but
actually
I don't know him. Yeah.
yeah. He used to live next door to my parents over here in Marin, and he was telling me, Mark, you got to drive one of these Sport Turismos. I'm like, really? I mean, I love the look of them,
hmm
but I was like, man, do I need to buy the super expensive one? Because I don't want to spend. That's crazy money, right? Like 200,000. That's like a vacation home, right? And he was like, no. I bought the 4, and it's totally perfectly fine. I'm like, hell yeah! So I test drove one, and I thought it was great. I had I just got rid of this. I had this GT3 RS, like a 2018,
hmm
and it's the best car on the track and the worst car on the street, right? Like, unless you're a dickhead and you want to drive like an asshole on the street,
Yeah.
then go ahead and do that. But on the racetrack, it's the best car. But I think on the street, it's just way too much for what it is.
Totally. Yep.
It was
And
super fun though, super fun car.
well, and you've got to remember too that I come from, I don't know. I would say that I if I were to go to my roots the way that you go to your roots with Volkswagens, my roots are probably A86s. Like I
Yeah.
I've flown all over the country to buy them. I like have
Oh.
scoured. Yeah, like I've scoured. I've sat on. I remember there was a period where I'd go on Craigslist every morning and every evening looking for them for like a month,
What?
and I just sit there and
Damn.
look and look and look and.
That's how I am every day.
Yeah, I've found. I mean, now that you have one, I can see back there. I found one back in my prime of searching and doing it. I found a 85 GTS on Craigslist, no pictures, and the guy wanted $200. And I was like,
What?
I don't care what shape it's in, I'll come buy it. So, I went over. It was silver. I mean, it was ugly. I don't like that. It had been like Mako resprayed. He was the original owner. It had like a Mako respray on it, so it wasn't horrible, but it was probably still better than stock paint. But I don't know. I kind of like the patina on the silver ones. And and he's like, well, it needs a battery, and I feel bad selling it to you without a battery, so I'll sell it to you for $250 with a battery in it. I was like, yeah, I think we can do that. Had a little bit of rust. I'll send you pictures after. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
And then
you should add it to this thing.
I will. I'll add it in here. I turned around. I traded it within like 2 weeks. There was a guy that was looking for a hatch, and he had and mine was an 85. He had an 87. Maybe it was an 86. It was a Koki, dark blue coupe. So that dark blue color. It wasn't two-tone or anything. It was just a dark blue.
Oh yeah.
Blue ATS coupe. Perfect interior with a blacktop 20 valve already swapped into it.
Wow.
And he traded me straight across for the car I bought for $200.
No way.
Just because he wanted a hatch.
What the heck? That's crazy.
And
I just spent like a year and a half finding the complete rear interior of this 8.6. This is actually my son's car. I bought it when he was 2 years old. He's like 10 now. So
wow. So you're just getting it ready?
I'm just like getting it ready, We'll see what happens.
No, I love that. Do you still have that that is it an EG hatch that you were selling, or?
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know Hondas as well, so I don't know what they're called. I think it was the EG hatch, right?
Yeah, it was the EG hatch. It was one of my cars I've never owned before, so I was like, oh man, I need to go buy. I really want to get one for a daily driver. Mm-hmm. And then I think I maybe overfixed it up, and it just becomes a car that someone will steal. You can't even park it anywhere because you got to watch its back,
So, as we're kind of getting close to the end, I wanted to ask you to kind of walk me through, like, what is the correct path? Like, somebody watching this video right now, these videos have been getting a good amount of views and stuff. Someone right now on this video, they're watching from somewhere, let's say, because you can't speak for the whole world. They're watching somewhere in the United States. They want to do a Rauh Welt car. They don't have any friends that do it. They're not connected with anybody else. Their only way to figure it out, is this video. What do they do? How does somebody get on a list? Like, what is the process?
Yeah. So I think the soup, like the most basic and fastest way to get this going for me is through email. Go to our site and just email directly. Because I think when they do that, I get a lot of emails, right, from people that want it RWB, that are trying to figure out how to get it and this and that. All the basics is on the website, but when you want to really place an order and get into fine details, what I tell them is find 10 cars that you like, right, and send me those photos. Then I can help you figure out what you really like about these cars, right? You can figure out your color, whatever. I know most people come in with the color that they want, but all the little details, whether it's a fender wing or an extra wide body, or or extra canards on the front, and just things that are possible but a lot of people don't know about, then that's when I kind of help fine tune it with them, and then from there, all the rest is pretty easy.
So what's and this adds to the confusion, right? Because I didn't know what the right website was. What is the website to go to get a hold of you and put an order in?
Well, what we're using is rwbusa.com, right?
rwbusa.com. Okay.
No, rauhweltusa.com.
Rauh-Welt and I'll put a screenshot of it in this video so people see like, okay, this is it. And I'm going to, even though I didn't order from you.
No, it doesn't matter.
Well, I'm going to definitely, when you get back from your trip, because I know that you're going on a very important trip coming up, I'm going to probably put you through the ringer. How far after you put your order in, just as far as what you know on production and stuff, how far after you put an order in can you make adjustments to it? Like, you know, I know things are probably a little bit different right now with COVID, and I know that Nakai is building stuff kind of behind the scenes, but when you've helped people with orders in the past, they put an order in and they say, hey, change my mind on the fenders. Can I still pay you more and get the you know, like what was that like? What's kind of the timeline?
I haven't really experienced a change order. You know, usually the guys are like pretty adamant on what they want, and I think even, you know, Kai is super flexible with that kind of stuff, right? Like if like say he's about to ship it and you say, oh man, I want to go wider, then you just have to wait a few more weeks to make those rear fenders, right?
Yeah.
But really he's totally okay with everything, you know, just as long as like you're okay with the timing and stuff. Because usually when you order a kit, your kit can come as soon as 3 to 4 months, right? And then the wait happens because he's expecting you to paint, do your interior, do your exterior, do your engine work or suspension work, all that stuff. So that's why I always tell people, like, whenever they get their kit, before they even get their kit, start working on your suspension. You know, like, it's so easy to do, and everything just takes time to order and get to you. But build out the car while you're waiting. That way it feels like you're not just waiting.
That's what I'm doing too. Like, I've already got my suspension ordered, headlights, you know, wheels. The wheels were kind of a weird one. I bought them just kind of on a whim, probably. I probably should have waited because you can't use them until, you know, you're not going to put 18 by 12 anything on a stock 911. So, but anyway, no, that's really exciting. In your time in doing this, has anything changed, like, from when you started doing this to now? Like, do you feel like the culture around it's changed? Do you feel like Nakai has changed? Like, has anything changed since 7 years ago when you got started, or is everything kind of the same?
I don't know if I don't think it changed much. I think I was very surprised when it started getting tons of attention. You know, like, people started doing builds and started doing event builds, like stage builds. That was kind of crazy to me. That's just something I would never think this would happen, you know, but, you know, things go all kinds of ways, you know, different people, different builds, you know, so.
Yeah. I'll give you 2 last questions and we'll end, because I know that you're probably itching to get home and stuff.
No, I'm totally cool. I actually still have to go to swap out my truck wheels and bring my wheels back here.
Hey, we've got the same truck, I think, don't we? Do you have a Tacoma?
Yeah.
Is that what I saw?
Off-road.
Yeah. And it's cement color?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got the same car.
No way.
Mine looks exactly the same as yours, but you've got wheels and stuff. Anyway, it's cool. That's a whole nother planet of conversation, but I really want to I want to follow along that, because now that we have the same colored trucks, we got to compete. No.
Yeah, we should go have a meet. I know there's so many cement colored trucks, but it's a really cool color. I love it.
Well, and I was thinking about trying to find a way to do that with my car, and that's the way that what is that blue color called? Graphite blue, Porsche graphite blue. I love colors, and it's a newer thing in the last few years where they're making these colors that they look like just a standard candy 2-stage paint, but when you get close, they're metallic. But from a ways away, they don't look metallic. They look like a cool pastel or something. But when you get close, they're not pastel. They're totally.
They call this a cement gray metallic, which is weird because from far away it looks like a flat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
or matte. Yeah, flat.
So I'm hoping when I do my car, so mine's going to be seafoam green, which, to be honest, the reason I did it, kind of like your story around the Volkswagen, is Fender guitars, when they first were getting going, Fender guitar got all the excess paint from GM, and that's how they'd paint the guitars.
Whoa, I had no idea.
And so seafoam green is a guitar color. Well, it started on the cars, but it's like I have a guitar that color. And I've been like, instead of like paints, you know how people go get speed forms painted?
Yeah.
I just go to Guitar Center, and that's how I decide what color I want my car to be. Is I go to Guitar Center and I look at all the colors on their guitars, and then I just write down what they have. But I dialed it down to the seafoam green, and then I bought a guitar just to make sure I liked it. So I've been living with that color, playing it for like 6 months, making sure I like the color. So
that's cool. Oh yeah, another thing about the beginning of RWB, if it's cool if I can talk about it. Because back then I was really into drifting. I started drifting in '99, and really got into it around 2001. Mm-hmm. But Nakai, I guess his drifting club was called Rough World. Yeah. And Nojima is a really good drifter as well, right? So his painter.
He's the painter, yeah.
And I think, so they actually painted one of the RWBs here in my warehouse.
Really?
We just put a we put a plastic sheet and he painted. I was like, we'll never do this again. This was crazy. Like there was blue everywhere.
Oh no.
Yeah, but like I was saying, like I knew these two guys, Nakai and Nojima, were way into drifting. So I was like, man, this is another reason why I wanted to get into this world, because Rough World was like my thing. You know, I love drifting, and these guys are drifters. They like Porsches. I love Porsches. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was kind of what got me into. Is it's this perfect blend because the Corollas. When I saw that they were as into Corollas as I was into Corollas, I was like, heck yeah, these guys, like, they know. Because most people, when I tell them that, I remember when I tell people I had a $60,000 A86, and they're like, well, what's that? And you're like, well, it's an 80s Corolla. They're like, you have a $60,000 Corolla? That sounds terrible. I would never buy that, you know?
Yeah.
And you like show them pictures of them. They're like, yeah, it looks terrible too. But I've had I've had a lot of cars. You've had a lot of cars.
Yeah.
And when I had never driven an air-cooled 911 until I bought mine, and when I drove it, I thought, wow, this thing drives just like an A86, but it's got more power and it looks better. But that's it. Like other than that, it feels just like it, and that's what I love about it.
The clutch kicking is not the same, but yeah, it does feel like it. The drive is definitely similar.
Yeah. So the last thing I was going to ask you about is the Idlers race, because I think I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, when I was asking about lap times one time in the group, you mentioned that maybe you'd at least gone over to watch it, or maybe you'd driven in it.
Yeah. I've driven Idlers, I think 6 times in Japan. The not 6, maybe 5 times. The 12-hour race.
Yeah.
It's really fun. And we're actually planning. We're working on having an Idlers in the USA right now. I'll let you guys know.
Like at Willow or something, or where are you thinking of doing it?
Maybe Buttonwillow. Yeah. Buttonwillow. I can. I'll bring you around the warehouse. That way you can, if you want to edit some pieces. And
then, I didn't know you're into motorcycles.
Well, we're doing a collaboration with Suzuki. And that's just that's the bike I'm working off of right now, and that should come out next year sometime. This is the 8.6.
Oh, so you've got Zenki bumpers on it, huh? How old is that?
This is actually an 85.
Okay.
So yeah,
they're hard to find parts for now, huh?
It's really hard. So crazy. This is the inside.
Oh,
can you see that? Or
is that the Cusco bolt-in cage?
Yeah, it actually. I bought this off my my son's I guess godfather.
Okay.
And he crashed it drifting.
Hey, that's how you're supposed to crash it.
Yeah, he took out the rear end, so I just had that all fixed, and now it's been with us for 8 years now.
Hey, are Are those crazy bridge seats that are like the Euro Sportster ones? I forget what they're called. Yeah,
Yeah,
they are. Those seats
yeah.
are
This is our.
awesome.
We did a collaboration. We did a collab with Brid, and this is my version of it.
Huh, I had no idea.
Pretty cool. Yeah,
I was
we
thinking
only
about
made.
putting. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, we made about I think 2 dozen, and then they sold out. So that's Michael's car. He's from Beijing. It's a 993 turbo that he RWB'd. It's really fast, and he comes from Beijing once a year to drive it, so it's pretty cool. So it just sits here pretty
Crazy.
much.
So do you drive it like once a month? You take it around the block to like keep it going?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I let him know when we're gonna drive it, and he's totally cool with it. This is my Hako.
Yeah. Is that
Yeah.
on your? I would assume I'm going to ask a stupid question, but is that one of your favorite cars that you currently own? Is that going to be like one you'd never sell? Your Hako?
I sold it already. I sold
What?
it, and then I bought it back. Just
Okay.
after 2 years, I had to buy it back.
Yeah. See, that makes sense.
Yeah, this is my bus.
Yeah, I love that bus. That's
Yeah.
that's one of my favorite cars that you have. I'd love to set one of those up as like a motorcycle hauler, or even like a camper would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. That's a 2 Ferraris there. They're just cars and stuff. And here's my office. That's what this is where I usually sit
Wow.
during the day. Yeah.
Wow.
My
You've got.
sneakers and stuff.
Yeah, that's it's a lot of cool stuff. Anyway, thanks again for taking the time with me tonight. Really appreciate it. What websites or links? Where do you want people to go to check out your stuff?
They could just go to my Instagram at mrk.rcnl, like Mark Arcenal.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it's linked to everything.
Okay, so Rauh Welt USA, illest. Any other collabs or anything we should be watching for?
There's so many.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I got a Suzuki one. I got a Moon Ice one coming out. A Naruto, if you're into Naruto. We have Naruto coming. Just a whole bunch of stuff. Really fun stuff.
Okay.
Should I say it? No, I probably shouldn't yet.
Okay.
But yeah, no, we got some cool stuff coming.
All right, cool. Hey, I appreciate it. And I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much.
Cool. Thanks, man.
All right.
Take
Thank
care.
you.